New details tonight in a Target 12 investigators exclusive historic mistake. As we first reported last spring, Rhode Island taxpayers were shelling out hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to store the state's most important records, hundreds of years of history in a flood-prone basement. Now we've learned state officials have moved the documents out of the risky location.
But they're still looking for a permanent solution. Let's go to Target 12 investigator Tim White with the latest details.
For 20 years, historic state documents were a power outage away from damage or destruction in the basement of this building. Now the clock is ticking. The state has 4 years to try and find a permanent home. 6 sump pumps working around the clock in a constant battle against water.
There's a river that runs underneath the floor pad here.
As Target 12 first reported, for years, millions of historic records were being stored in a Providence basement located in a floodplain. The building on Westminster Street in Providence is being rented by the state, but this is what it looks like now.
We did relocate everything that was in the basement to the first floor and existing office space.
It took 5 months, but much of the material now jammed into the first floor of the building, as well as 2 off-site locations. Secretary of State Nellie Gorbea moved quickly to avert disaster.
We then took a step back and said, okay, where are we going with this? What can we do? We're the only state in the country that doesn't have a permanent solution for its state archives.
In the budget recently signed by Governor Gina Raimondo, $100,000 has been earmarked to study possible solutions.
So our plan is to hopefully over the next 4 years go through a very thoughtful and deliberate process that ends with a permanent facility for the state archives that might be a shared facility.
Meaning it could be a team approach, building or occupying an existing space for not just state records, but also City of Providence, the courts, and the Rhode Island Historical Society.
It's too soon to talk about actual locations other than to say that clearly the City of Providence is interested in this shared facility. If that's the case, then it would be in the City of Providence.
And too soon, she says, to talk about how much it will cost and how they will pay for it, possibly through a voter-approved bond referendum. But the lease on the Westminster building ends in about 4 years, so the goal is to have a new home by then. $248,000 a year. That's what taxpayers dished out to rent this property. But now that the state isn't using the basement, the rent has dropped to $161,000 a year. With the Target 12 investigators, Tim White, Eyewitness News.